just a man walk down before you call him a man.
You know, I want to kick off 2010 by introducing a truly magical and revolutionary product today. But before we get to that, I just want to talk about some updates. So first, Linux on the desktop. We've had a great year. Ubuntu had another great release. SUSE had another great release. Gentoo. They've all had pretty spectacular releases, both on the laptop, the traditional desktop, as well as the netbook. We've seen some tremendous innovation. Just great effort towards making computing available to everyone, and I'm really proud to be part of the community. Beyond the desktop, Linux is obviously one of the most widely, if not the most widely used server OSs, powering trillions of dollars of transactions across the globe, from financial exchanges to websites to little e-commerce sites for local businesses. It is Linux that's powering that. But today is about the future. Before we get to the future, let's look to the past. In the past, if we look over the last decade, we'll see, we could show pictures of Linux geeks huddled over computers, trying desperately to make every last driver work, every last hardware component work with the system, to great effect for the vast majority of instances that geeks would like it to work for. And it's been tremendous to look at that history over the last decade. And the most important thing is, it's been no cost to the end consumer, no DRM, no restrictions on how you use it. It just is. It's free in the freest of senses. But now, here we look forward. Where does it go from here? In 2007, I was very proud to be part of a community bringing Linux to the iPhone. I had a version called the iPhone, which was perhaps not the best creation, but it certainly delivered the goods in terms of getting everybody excited about putting Linux in the hands of people who wanted touch screens and the whole thing. Certainly all of us use laptops and smartphones, and by all I mean everybody in in San Francisco and Los Angeles and New York. The people that matter use laptops and smartphones. And the logical question is there room for another device in the household beyond the Xboxes and the PSPs and the PS3s and the DSs and the Nokia 800s and the Live phones and the iPhones and the Nexus One? Is there room for yet another device that does basically the same thing? And in this case, runs Linux. I think so. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce the LiPad, Linux in tablet form. And so if you see here, what we've got is the most advanced Linux tablet operating system and hardware in existence today. So let me take you through some of this, and then we'll, actually, it's not so good to just demonstrate it. It's better to just do. So let's see what we've got is a Wacom tablet connected to a second generation iPod Touch, connected to one laptop per child. There's some duct tape that's evident on the exterior, but it's black, so it kind of blends in. The one laptop per child operating system, Sugar, or whatever you want to call it, is actually powering everything that's going on. What's amazing about this device is that this is the kind of device you expect to be able to sit in your living room and and work naturally with it. You know, you want to scroll over things. You want to view the internet in restricted form. No Flash, no Internet Explorer, basically no standard JavaScript. This is the form to do it. So if it's basically, you know, a text-only experience that you're looking for, the LiPad is the way to go. But it's a fully manipulative interface where you just run your hand over it, you do different things, and you hope for the best. The other thing is, you know, what a lot of people want to do in that third category of device is be able to watch media, enjoy media in an interface that is more natural to that media. I would love to show it to you today, but I haven't cracked the encryption code yet, nor downloaded the hack. It's natural that you can kind of just do things, and I can assure you that with the LiPad, nothing works the way you expect. I mean, email, you're lucky if you can get one out. And with browsing the web, I mean, frankly, you can get to Slashdot, and you can get to a few other news groups. And then, of course, you know, the idea of word processing and whatnot, we leave that to other people to do anyway. I mean, people who work on Linux, it's really not important that you be able to do those sort of things. It's important that you actually be able to get hardware to boot. You know, what's this going to cost? Some people have suggested did suggest that the iPad would cost, you know, $1,000, and of course they came in at, you know, in some cases at $499. Well, the nice thing about the LiPad is that it comes in at roughly $153.52 on eBay. It takes about 8 weekends to get the install to work. Now, we don't have a fancy deal with AT&T, but I'm sure if you're clever, you'll be able to hack the networks. What I want to do is kind of, you know, just leave you with a simple question and answer. You know, why bother? Why bother? Why do Linux, you know, in a tablet form? Because it's not Apple, and it's not Microsoft. So we should do something else. And the reality is, Linux has always been at the intersection of anti-culture and free shit. So when we look at this thing, it's technologically okay. It's pretty impossible to use, but it's basically free. And frankly, that's what matters with Linux. You know, it's a little different what you expected, but we think it's magical because we're forcing you to do things you wouldn't normally do when you sit down to compute. One of these, you'll be extremely cool, or at the very least on the fringe, which certainly is something you can't get by carrying around the 58th millionth iPhone or the 11th millionth iPad. Having the only iPad on your block gives off a certain air. So, you know, that's it for now. I want to encourage you to join me online. You certainly can go to socialmode.com, where I have a few units to give out, and you can check these things out. It's pretty spectacular. I'm sure version 2 will be a little more functional, and I hope you check it out. And thanks for hanging out. So, you know, I want to leave, you know, with our good pal, which I think it's relevant for this. Yeah. You know, unfortunately, I had to get this off a LimeWire. But please don't tell anyone. So be sure to check it out. The LiPad. Linux on the iPad. Go Penguins. Before she sleeps in the sand. Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly?